everyone, welcome back to the Diabetic Diet Show. On today's show, we're going to make mushroom, basil, chicken, and pasta. It's show number 293. I've started the water boiling on the stove in a teapot so it will get hot. I have my pan on the burner, empty, heating up. Let's start with the ingredients. When I brought the stuff home from the store, I took the mushrooms out of the factory package and I put them in the brown bag. Makes them last forever, or at least a few days. Let's get the water. Let's get that going. Starting to whistle. Sounds like the queen can have her tea. Alright, here's our water. I'm going to need to salt this, but it's hot. Another one for the bloopers. We need to salt this, but I want to let it boil just a little bit more. I want to get it good and hot. Now, back to the ingredients. By the way, you don't have to write down the measurements and stuff, because if you click the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner right now, you'll see the word more and the ingredients and measurements will be there. Or if you prefer, you can go to my website, which is jamestdds.blogspot.com. The rest of the ingredients are one of my favorites, which is Mascarpone, which is basically cream cheese. It comes small containers, which is really handy. It also comes in big containers if you want to use it for multiple meals. I had the dropsies today. This might be an interesting show. Next, if you're like my son and you like it hot, red pepper flakes. I'm going to skip that. I like things mild. Next is the basil. I pre-made the basil in advance. Next we have some garlic. The garlic, you're going to need somewhere between 1 to 3 cloves of garlic. Lots of basil. I love basil. It really is one of my favorites. Then breadcrumbs. I'm using the Panko brand. Of course, there's lots of different brands of breadcrumbs that you can use, but I recommend the Panko. I kind of like them best. So I have them all measured out. And then capers, one of my favorites. Talked to my sister about this the other day, and she reminded me that when you're using capers, remember they're salty. So you use a little less salt when you're using them. So let's start out with getting the pasta boiling. I've set the timer for 10 minutes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start my timer, and I'm going to take my pasta, and I like to break up my pasta and drop a little on the floor as I'm working. Remember, this is going to be hot, so kind of protect your hands with something. I have this little washcloth, which is easy. Now, I like to break my pasta in thirds. My sister right now is going, no, do it in half. I like thirds. I like noodles and macaronis better than I do long pasta. It's too hard to scoop up. Now that that is going to start and the timer is going, let's do the next thing. Let's do the mushrooms, the capers, and the garlic. So as far as the garlic goes, this is pretty easy. I have a garlic chopper. Hopefully it's charged enough because it is battery operated. If not, I have my slab chopper. And I don't work for them, but these are my favorite tools in the kitchen. And he did say if anybody buys them, he'll give you a discount if you just use TDDS or James as the keyword to buy from them. as soon as I get my 1,000 subscribers, I can run promotions and list this kind of stuff. For now, I'll just mention it and just tell you I don't get paid anything if you buy it, but I like this stuff, so I don't have a problem with telling you that I like it. As far as the garlic goes, this is pretty easy, straightforward. Most people would probably use 1 clove. I like to use at least a couple. And this garlic looks like it's going to peel off pretty easy for me. If it's going to peel hard, then I'm going to put it in a container and shake the container. To get this off, you could use a pickle jar, olive jar, or something. You could use a Tupperware. It just depends on the garlic. It's coming apart pretty easy, so I'm real happy with this. Plus, when you have a fingernail, that's a tool. There we go. Then we're just going to put this garlic in and put this back on, line it up. All done. Pretty easy. Now let's do the capers. I love capers. Capers and raisins, that's like one of the best kept secrets that chefs use, and really, really good. Okay, here we go. And that all done. I know those are going to be good. Kind of messy though. Like red onions. Red onions are messy. When you go to use red onions, they're all over the place. I get them in my hair. Get them in my pocket. There we go. Now mushrooms. I'm just going to use, this is how the whole package came. Now, if you have any dirt on these, you don't wash mushrooms. What you do is you just grab a paper towel, like this. Some people use the stems, I particularly don't. All you're supposed to do with these is just hit them with a towel. Just like this. Don't worry if they break, because you're going to cut them anyway, right? I really like mushrooms a lot. They really add a lot to a meal. How we doing here? We got 5 minutes and 14 seconds on our pasta. Let's go ahead and salt this. Remember, you don't salt your water until it's boiling, so it doesn't pit your pan. I don't know if it'll pit these new Ninjas, but I don't want to find out because I really like my Ninja pans. I'm really happy. I bought a lot of stuff through the years that was junk or stuff I don't like, but I gotta tell you, I really like my Ninja pans. Now, let's go ahead and cut up these mushrooms. I just use a container to put them in. This particular one is a dish that like some Panko came in. Works real well. You can just keep it and cut them up. Don't make them too small because they can burn. Leave mushroom chunks a little bit larger than other things that you might cut up. So these big mushrooms, I'm doing 2 cuts each way. This is just like Mom used to make. Mom and Grandma. My aunts, my mom and my aunts. I used to watch them cook on Sunday. We'd go to my aunt's house and I would sit right on the edge of the kitchen. This is a small mushroom, so I just did like a plus cut on that one, where this is a large one. So I did 2 cuts, turn it sideways, and 2 cuts. I can get the last one snuck out of there like that. There we go. Half of it goes in the wastebasket and the other half goes on the floor. Next thing we're going to do is some olive oil with our breadcrumbs, garlic, salt, and pepper. We're down to the last few seconds on this pasta. As soon as it's done, I'm going to pull this off the burner and I'm going to put my pan on with the oil on the hot burner. So I have dumped the pasta into a strainer and I rinsed it and I put it back in the hot pot. I have also saved 1 cup of the starchy water from the pasta, and I'm going to start my timer for this oil now. So I got that set at 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and get these breadcrumbs in here. We'll let them start to warm up. Just so happen to have a perfect wooden spoon. Wow, does it smell good? To all my neighbors who I probably drive crazy with the smell of this delicious food. Doesn't olive oil smell great when you cook it? I know they're watching. Let's let that warm up a little bit. Maybe for about a minute or so, and then I'll put the other ingredients in there. My garlic. I have a little spatula here that I like just to scoop it out with. Let's go ahead and get some salt and pepper in here. You don't need a lot of salt. Unlimited amount of pepper, as much as you like. Stir it up. I've gone ahead and opened my bag of chicken. I've ordered it being pre-cut, so I don't have to cut it up. I have my pan. I'm going to get my pan hot, and I'm going to put some oil in my pan. Of course, most people would say use a couple of tablespoons, so that was a couple of really big tablespoons that I like to use, because I like the taste of the olive oil. And then I like to move my olive oil around the pan a little bit while it's heating up, just to make sure I have the oil about everywhere I need to have it. Now, let's go ahead and put some salt and pepper in here. What's nice with uncooked fresh chicken is that you can see where the pepper's going in there, and it's hard to get it in a bag while you're holding it. I'm just going to put it in here with the oil. Let's go ahead and try to dump this in here without making too much of a mess. Now, as far as how long to cook these, that's going to depend on your chicken and how lean it is. So you know the rule of thumb with chicken is you always cook it to 165 degrees. One important thing with noodles is I know sometimes people skip the step of rinsing them, but if you don't rinse them, the noodles will stick together. This is almost done, so just give it a little bit of a stir really fast, and we will get ready to plate this up. Now, I made extra because it's so good I like to have leftovers. So I'll go ahead and serve some of this up. This is probably a good time to test our fancy pasta scoop here I ordered off the internet. Let's see if it works. Look at that chicken and the mushrooms. Wow. That is delicious. Oh, man. And then the roasted breadcrumbs. We'll just put some roasted breadcrumbs on top. Just like that. Set this aside. And we'll call this a done meal. Well, thanks for watching. Bye for now.